Last week proved that no team is infallible. See what upsets teams deliver with our games today. Clear skies, though, have returned to Los Angeles as people played paparazzi for Optic on their arrival. We'll see if they can take down 100 Thieves in the first game of the day as they headed to the stage just moments ago. Afro Moo leading the charge for that squad, Crawley bringing up the rear. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LCS Countdown, where for 30 minutes we highlight some of the unexpected heroes and show you what makes a dive comp work until the timer reaches 0 and we jump into Champions Select. It's good to be back. I got to admit, it's pretty unnatural to be watching the NALCS and not be up here with you guys. How did you guys manage?
It was pretty good, actually. We had Freak up here. That was the beginning of
the downfall of the week. Yeah. All right. Well, the standings show that no team remains undefeated as Team Liquid sits at 7-1 with Cloud9 at 6-2 and FlyQuest just behind at 5-3. 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians, Clutch Gaming, and Optic Gaming sit just outside of playoff position, about halfway into the split. Later on in Game 4 of the day, we'll see that battle for second place between Cloud9 and FlyQuest. Give me your thoughts on that matchup. It's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, C9, I think, is regarded as the clear-cut best team in the league right now. They show a good combination of player skill, good understanding of what play style they want to go through, and obviously have good teamwork to back it all up.
Meanwhile, FlyQuest here, if they win, then they will take down, this clear second-best team in the league and really put that stamp that people are looking for to seal, yes, FlyQuest here for the top of the standings because they've been performing extremely well. But yet they have so many players that aren't used to being in the spotlight, at the forefront. And I really think they have what it takes.
I think one of the most intriguing matchups is that top lane matchup. Of course, you've got Licorice, who proved himself beyond measure last year in his rookie split, up against the new hot rookie in Viper.
Yeah, I'm casting it later today, and we're going to have a featured matchup here. We've got Viper. Not only is he kind of the new North American rookie or whatever for the top lane, but he had 2 successful games on Riven, and I think that confidence of playing your main champion, a carry champion on the LCS stage is going to go a really long way for him as a rookie LCS player.
He's kind of the hope of solo queue players and like all those Riven one trick for competitive. You can do it.
Yeah. I love it. Hey, it's great to see players on their signature champions, especially when they are viable and find success. We'll see if that momentum carries through into their match today against Cloud9. That match does come later in the day. This week kicks off with Arrow versus Bang in the bot lane as Optic and 100 Thieves face off. We follow that with Team Liquid up against Echo Fox in 2 more games before TSM and Counter Logic Gaming face off in that 5th game of the day. To hear about Optic versus 100 Thieves, our first game of the day, let's send it over to Riven's Irene for a quick breakdown.
Thank you, Dash. And while both of these teams have had some pretty rocky starts, it's hard to say that Optic's 2-6 record is an accurate description of that team's overall strengths, Irene.
Yeah, because especially the 5 players that we've seen recently, they have an 0-4 record.
Yeah.
But if you dive a little bit deeper and you don't just look at the results, these team members here, they're actually doing quite well. They've gotten first blood in every single one of their games, so they're 8-8 in first bloods. And this Optic roster has the best gold difference at 15 in the entire league. They are the best early game team that we have right now in the LCS. They are struggling to close out the games, though, which has been an issue. And when they have that type of issue, you have to look at the shot calling of the team, and it needs to be looked at here. This roster started playing in week 3, so it's not unexpected to have an issue like that with synergy and shot calling. But now that we're in week 5, this is the time for Optic to look at that. And honestly, if they have to look at it again, it may be time for another mix-up.
Yeah, they have been switching things back and forth, and we'll have to see what they do going into that game because it's a game to prove for each of them. There has to be a win on either side.
Yeah, honestly, that's the big thing here that we're looking at for Optic, especially up against 100 Thieves, because 100 Thieves, they were the macro team last year. They've had a little bit of a struggle here in this 2019 season. So if Optic are able to have a good early game and close it out, it's something that 100 Thieves might struggle against.
All right, so we'll see how that matchup shakes out. Until game 1, we are stepping away. Countdown returns in just 2.5.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, about 22 minutes away from Game 1. As the league enters its halfway point, we're seeing different strategies teams can execute on. So our very own Professor Kobe wanted to give you the 101 on what makes a certain team comp work. Kobe, take it away.
Thank you, Dash, and welcome to the Anatomy of a Team Comp. We're going to be exploring several ideas over the day, dive compositions, standard compositions, poke compositions, but we're going to start out with dive compositions and what exactly makes dive compositions work in the current meta. Now, first of all, you're going to need three main components: mobility, hard CC, and most importantly, damage to kill off the priority target. Great example here, Cloud9 dive composition versus Clutch Gaming. They have the Shen, the Nocturne, and the Galio, all perfect with their ultimates to be able to dive onto Piglet's Sivir over here for Clutch Gaming. So we're gonna roll this replay, really good example. They set up around the dragon. As soon as they get vision onto this Sivir, immediately going to have the Nocturne ultimate with the Shen on back of them. And as you can see, the Galio waiting to use the Galio ultimate to come in and create some more space for them. These two here are the peel champions that Clutch Gaming have drafted to try and defend against this dive. Lee Sin as the ultimate for knockback. Alistar's going to try and use the headbutt and pulverize. Let's resume the replay now, and we'll see how, with the Nocturne ultimate on, they are able to get in front of the Alistar. He messes up his combo. Lyra also never gets off his kick. And with the double flashes from both Zeyzal and Svenskeren and Niski's ultimate coming in to cut off any extra defenses, they absolutely destroy their target. Once the damage is done for a dive comp, your goal has been accomplished. Everybody else on the enemy team has to scatter, and they don't pose any more threat to you. So that's the main goal. Now, here are some of the win conditions that you want to go for early, though. They're fairly straightforward for dive compositions, but you want to be aggressive, set up vision early between the objectives and in the jungle so you can then dive on these targets while they're in the open, catch them unawares. Also, you want to play them into low mobility carries if possible. Xerath and Ashe are perfect examples. And actually, we have Power of Evil on CLG as a very good example that Optic decided to draft some very hard engage on to destroy this low mobility carry. Camille, Lissandra, and Leona, all perfectly equipped to do the exact same thing. So let's roll another example clip here, and you can see more about the setup. Now, they have a very deep vision ward here in the jungle. Power of Evil, their target carry, they've had in their mind the whole time, has walked right over it. You can already see Dardoch looking straight at him. Then we've got the Leona and the Lissandra all ready with flashes and ultimates available to take down this guy. If you look at the minimap as well, CLG are fairly spread out. So with the speed that they're able to execute this is very, very key, so CLG can't react. Now, let's roll this replay, and you'll be able to see Dardoch immediately goes over. They answer flash for flash. The Hextech Ultimatum is a perfect ultimate to set these up, and you can see they're even bringing in a teleport as well. The commitment of the entire team is so important for dive compositions to work out. If we resume the replay here, Power of Evil, there's Xerath. He's already flashed away and used his cleanse. It doesn't matter. All three of them, again, flash, use their ultimates, take down this DPS. And then again, after the DPS, the heart of the team on the enemy team has been taken out, they have to scatter. They have to give up the objective afterwards. And that's how you gain your big momentum with a dive composition. Now, if you want to play a dive composition at home, there are some things that you might want to avoid. Metas where Janna and Lulu, these peeling supports, are super strong. Try and avoid those. Also, in the Champion Select, you might want to throw some bans at Lucian, Ezreal, mobile AD carries that you don't want to have such a hard time chasing down. That is going to clean it up for the first episode here of Team Comp 101. We're going to send it back to Dash and Mark at the desk.
Come on back over, Kobe.
Mark fell asleep during class.
You fell asleep during class?
Never.
Come on, Mark.
No. I was a great student in school. Don't worry about that.
But not anymore?
Yeah,
not anymore.
totally.
It's too bad because Hai missed class entirely today. So at least you attended class in terms of attendance record.
I was
you were
great
here,
at
man.
attendance.
You were here.
Just don't ask me what he said.
You know what? You get an A. Woo! You at least get a C. I'm a very kind teacher.
Participation
He was
award.
here. He showed up.
I think in reference though to the segment itself, I think dive comps have to be one of the most fun comps to actually execute well. Because of that whole idea of committal, you blow someone up super fast. If everything goes right, the other team doesn't even really have a chance to respond.
There's immediate gratification as well. If you're part of the dive composition and you successfully destroy your target, everybody's feeling good.
I'd also say they're the easiest to play in a lot of ways.
Agreed
where
there
it's
as well.
It's so clear what it's trying to do. You just pick a target, everyone goes on them, and that's all you really need to think about. Yes, there's the vision control setup and invading to actually play it well at a competitive level, but for people at home wanting to play, just pick a bunch of people with ultimates that go in.
And that's why I'm excited to hear the breakdown maybe in later weeks around Peel compositions, because those are one of the tougher to execute. Now, hype is a fickle beast and can follow the strangest trends, so we wanted to highlight some heroes, rather, who may have flown under the radar when it comes to getting their due praise. For this week, we have Cloud9's Niski, FlyQuest's Viper, and TSM's Acadian. First up, let's talk about Cloud9's Niski.
Yeah, he's blended in so perfectly with Cloud9 that we almost kind of forget he's new. We're still talking about Licorice in the top lane being like the NA's new superstar. We have Sneaky memeing it up in the bot lane, and in a lot of ways, we haven't been talking about like how well Niski is actually integrated because it's been so smooth. I mean, he's had a couple carry games. He's been a bit of a beast actually in the early game. He's a super good player, and so because of that, you actually don't talk about him as much as you should.
And one of the biggest points for me is that he has fit into multiple roles. When Cloud9 want to execute a dive composition, he's there with the Galio or the Aatrox. When they want to do poke composition, he's there with the Zoe. Very different roles, yet he's been able to fit into multiple styles for the team, and I think that's important when you have a coach like Reaper.
Really cool, and a contrast to their year last year, where it took them a little while to ramp up. They may have started slightly hot, but we did have that lull at the midpoint of the season. We'll see if they can keep it running through this spring split. Next up, FlyQuest Viper. We already talked about his big top lane matchup today against Licorice.
Yeah, and this guy, we had Hooney on the dive. He ranked Viper #2 top laner in the North American LCS for right now, right behind Licorice. So that just adds a little bit more extra spice to this matchup where he's going up against one of the best that we have ever had, also a native North American top laner, and he is going to possibly display some more Riven games. I heard that is something that they're very willing to pull out as far as split pushing as well.
I hope so, and it's crazy to hear that like he's potentially #2 in the league now behind Licorice. When coming in, it was like, oh, well, he's a downgrade from Flame.
Yeah.
This might be holding FlyQuest back, even though there's the Poe Belter upgrade in the mid lane. And the fact that he might be the superstar of this team that's going to help push them over the top and get them into that second place position if he's able to match up well versus Licorice is crazy from a beginning of season perspective.
Let's finally talk about TSM's Acadian here. This guy has surprised and pleasantly surprised rather this split so far.
Especially the meme game. Like, I'm super happy he went in, typed all that stuff up. Some players feel like robots at times, and to see him having fun, which I think is really important, was really good to see. And even though they won, like I would want to see it even if they lost again. But he has been super pivotal to their early game.
Yeah, especially on teams like TSM, where if you lose, the players have a very, very high tendency to clam up, kind of get very sad. You know, they're expected to win all the time. But if you can keep getting out there, have the personality, trash talk as well beforehand, then back it up sometimes, you get rewarded as well.
And I think you see the early game stats, like the super high forward percentage and kills and assists. Like, that's what TSM has been lacking, it feels like, for over 2 years. So, like, the fact that he's kind of come in here, we haven't talked a ton about him, but feels like he's re-energized and made the most aggressive TSM in over 2 years is huge for me.
First team to take down Team Liquid, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, that too.
We're stepping away, but as we go, rather, Mark and Kobe get to relive their day with Freak. Enjoy. We'll see you afterwards. I want to state that people watching at home should not, I repeat, should not attempt this at home. You get your predictions wrong, you will be handcuffed to Freak for 24 hours.
All right, that's a little tight. You know what? That's where we are. This is looking good. All right, we're hanging out now. This is perfect.
When we can go Pearson, when we can go double lift, when something special happens.
Thank you.
What is worse, being handcuffed for 24 hours? I just started, but I gotta tell you, so far it's actually not that bad.
Okay, that's not part of the deal. That's the first cue. I got it. All right, we're gonna spend it. Ready? Wait. Free! Slide on out.
Thank you.
It's okay, I have advantage. All right, yeah, 14 hits. Why are you rolling with your shaft hand? My lucky hand. I can only crit my left hand. It's random. No. Speaking of random, you take 5 damage.
right, boys? Yeah, extremely swift.
Yep. I think this is instantly going on my check.
These peasant thinking we aren't even good. Lamau. Lamfao. LMFAO, bro. Oh, that's how you say it?
I need jungle the gang, but...
Yeah, we can't have everything go on. Let's keep it realistic.
You know it, right?
Oh, whatever.
No idea. Is it a Turkish meme?
Why is it instantly? It's just, it must be a Turkish meme if we haven't heard of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're top-level memesters, so we've heard every meme.
That's true.
You say one thing, marginally memeable, and you're gone.
Stay in the state of flow, guys. You know it. I don't need to tell you anything because.
Why are you talking?
Didn't ask actually.
Thomas with the king vote right now.
Didn't ask.
Wow.
But now you start with didn't ask. 144 hertz.
144 hertz.
Make sure your scripts are on.
Make sure scripts are enabled.
Oh my god, man. There's some meme overload today.
Look. Zoe.
I'm Zoe. I canceled the lantern. Zoe?
Okay, I'm watching it. I'll start that. And then we keep it to everybody. I'll start that.
Fine. Are we fighting this?
Yeah.
I'm coming.
So much.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm flashing.
They have lantern soon.
I could.
Flash don't back. Nice. Flash don't back.
Swash.
Sonya.
Zoe.
Okay. Nice.
Sign next.
Yes, no. I ult.
Let's go. Okay. Kill Sign.
Kill him. Nice.
Can we end?
Yeah.
Let's end.
Just hold Nexus.
Next.
Okay. Nice. Hit Nexus.
We got it.
Alright, I'm gonna preface this with didn't ask so we can be serious.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't say did not ask at the end of this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're safe.
Okay, I'm safe. Okay, so let's talk about the game plan a bit.
Okay, I'm
You win now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna flashlight, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Going now? Team 2 kill bottom, guys. Got him.
Nice, good job, guys.
Good shit.
Rush. Yeah. Stopwatch though.
Don't stop us.
Going now.
No. Yeah, nice. Give me. Yeah, good job, man.
Really good wing condition on top side.
After this, I will base and I will get tempo on top side, okay? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Yeah. Lee. Nice.
No, Alistair as well. Tinder will come from base eventually.
Hooking Alistair.
It's fine.
Back.
Not there.
Nice.
Can you do the base?
When you see it.
Okay.
I'll go for steal and we're just trying to... Wait, they're off of it? Oh, there's
Let's go here.
Yeah, keep going.
I'll just base. Lee. Nice. Nice. Let's go.
Nice.
Mid. Just kill them for KDA. Google Shift stats. Google stats, boys.
Google stats, guys.
TSM will finally slay Liquid.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. It's prediction time. So let's see what you guys got for me this week. Our 5 games today. Of course, we do have that battle for second place in the 4th game of the day.
Oh my God.
Thank God High broke this one up.
High has departed from you guys there in that 4th game of the day. Kobe, I think you predicted clutch in game 3.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't predict GGS.
Did your phone autocorrect to Golden Guardians?
No, I can confirm because I get a pre-look at all of your guys' predictions. So I can confirm that Kobe actually...
Whoa, look at the hot swap.
That bait and switch. I love it.
Real-time updates. That's impressive.
Mark, you're sitting at that 500 record right now. You have confidence in your picks today to finally move above that 500 mark?
There were a lot that I think had like clear favorites, but you can make a case for, like the fact we heard, Optics early game is the best in the league. For the most part, 100 Thieves is pretty slow. Clutch versus Golden Guardians, I think, was another one. And FlyQuest versus C9. So even though all of us are pretty aligned, I actually do think there's a fair...
There are closer matchups than that might suggest. So why do you have confidence in Clutch over Golden Guardians where the other 3 chose
I know why he did.
Do you?
Oh, I think it's the stocks. I think it's what's coming up next.
Oh, okay.
The stocks played a part in it, but both those had the same reasoning behind them. Part of it was we had Hooney on the dive, and he had a lot of positive things to say about how Clutch are kind of coming back and building, even though they have this big loss streak built up. I really do feel like their schedule this week are all winnable games, and I feel like they're going to make that big push now.
Kobe sees money, and he goes for money. That's really what this is all about. Before we jump into the LCS stock market ourselves, we've got some sound advice from a savvy sage when it comes to ELO gains. Check it out.
Thanks, Das. The state of the LCS stock market has seen a few earthquakes in recent weeks. Most notably, TL do bleed. But don't worry, friends, the sky isn't falling on TL. I'm saying stay holding on to those shares. One team that is making a climb in the market is TSM. A couple weeks ago, this team was a hard sell. But now they come into this week, why didn't I buy 2 weeks ago? TSM show new signs of life and have gotten the silent throngs once again chanting TSM, TSM, TSM. But before you start calling your trader, I want to sound a note of caution. Their next 4 games look scary, and I'm not one that gets scared. Just ask this guy. Isn't he adorable? They're going up against CLG, FlyQuest, Fox, and Cloud9, and all the teams that are tied with them or ahead in the standings. So if they win, they could see that line continue to climb, but there are no free wins in these next 2 weeks. Finally, Clutch Gaming are on a long downslide. I'm saying sell, or should you? Clutch's schedule light up the next 2 weeks, but buy low and wait for them to pick up wins versus their neighbors in the standings and then sell high. That's just science.
Well, let's check back into the LCS stock market to see whether you'll take Riv's advice to recover your portfolios. First, let's take stock of where all 3 of you stand. These, of course, are your portfolios as of 2 weeks ago, your net gains and losses.
Yeah, neither of us really made huge gains or losses. Plus 21, negative 52.
High up over 5K still, so he's got a decent lead over the other 2 of you, but by no means is that an insurmountable lead within the next 2 weeks of play.
Right, I mean, like, look at C9. They went plus 67 this week. Golden Guardians plus 82. So if you had picked up a number of those, you would have gone flying up. Unfortunately, we all just kind of picked a bunch of 2-2 teams.
Again, that's a reminder of the stock prices for each of our teams coming into this week. So with those stock prices in mind and their next 4 games ahead of them, Kobe, let's take a look at your portfolio. Oh,
that's why he won Clutch to win.
There it is.
I'm tired of these small gains, Dash.
Win big and go home.
So you're going for big losses?
Everybody's going up or down, 50 points or whatever. Yeah. You know, I feel like there's a very good chance, looking at the schedule for Clutch Gaming, all of the games are winnable games to me. So even if they only go 2-2, they win 50% of these winnable games, they're still going to win me money because they are the lowest ELO of all of the teams.
Right.
You saw that line? They're almost at the bottom. They're under 400
They're gonna bottom out
per share right now. And I feel like it's just too good of a deal to pass up. I did also like how, Riv was looking at TSM, and TSM are about where they started the season, but most people feel like they're on an upswing. So that was another one I was considering. I just think it's funnier to go all in.
I appreciate it.
So I'll either go to the top and...
We're mooning. We're mooning.
Or fall from the sky. All right, well, let's talk about Golden Guardians here for a moment, because I think that's a lot of squad people are curious about.
And it's one of the things I wanted to highlight kind of even with the Clutch Gaming thing is if you look at the Team Liquid loss kind of dead center of the screen and see how much they lost in that in terms of their ELO, it was around 20-ish, 25, which is not a very big loss, all things considered, and they're still way up there. So I think not only taking into account like expected wins and losses, but who they're expected to lose to, because TL is the highest value team. If you lose them, it's not the end of the world. So like Kobe was saying, the neighbors value is actually really high. If you beat your neighbors or someone above you, that's when you can see a lot of gains. So the Clutch pickup, I kind of like a little bit, which is why if you run my trades, I bought one of them. I believed in it just a little bit.
I bought one also, 12 times.
Your big ticket team is that 100 Thieves still, so you're counting on them continuing to improve, steadily improve here?
Right, well, I think they had a 0-2 week last week, and I think that dropped their value enough. We're looking at their next couple games. It's kind of similar to Clutch, where it's a lot of people in the middle of the standings that I think they can beat, which is why they're kind of my big bet, and I think C9 and TL are always safe bets. They'll make you minimal returns every single time, it feels like.
Looking at the schedule for both of those, I both thought that they had some losable games. And since they're so high rated, the shares are so expensive, it felt a little bit more risky than usual.
I min-maxed it though, so I only had $1 left over, which made me feel really good about it.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it was a good idea, but I was
super clean.
This got me within $1 of maximum value.
No, that's respect. I respect that quite a bit. Of course, Cloud9 plays FlyQuest today, so that one will really move the needle, win or loss. Let's take a look at High's portfolio. He's not here to defend it, but he did send in his picks. He's also going heavy on Clutch Gaming, but a much more diversified portfolio, taking a couple sure bets in a sense with Cloud9 and TL, but then another couple risky picks in Echo Fox and Golden Guardians.
I think High has held on to a Cloud9 and Golden Guardian stock every single time, and those have paid out for him. Look, those are the 2 biggest earners from last week. That's how he still stays at the top and has been creeping up. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a really good strategy, as well as this 2 weeks feels like everyone's playing people around them. So like Echo Fox and Golden Guardians, I think, play themselves in clutch, and I think 100 Thieves as well. So like all these teams, it feels like top half teams are playing each other and bottom half. So there's gonna be a big swing, I think, this week in the market.
Well, I wish you both the best of luck over these coming 2 weeks. May the gains be ever in your favor.
Coming in to ask you for a loan here.
No, as the commissioner of the LCS stock market, I will not
goes
hand out
0-4,
any loans. We've got 10 seconds
Zero
till we head
dollars.
into game one. We're going to toss it out to the casters to get us into Champ Select.